Hello bandits. Courtesy of the folks at Paradox Interactive, today I'm taking a look through the dirty underbelly of Chicago as I bring you our usual review and parents guide for the turn-based Prohibition-era strategy Empire of Sin. This is a great little title with turn-based combat reminiscent of XCOM backed by a deep empire building strategy as you work to create and manage your own crime syndicate. There are a great number of mob bosses to select from and each comes with their own perks and vulnerabilities to create a great balance. You'll also need to balance production between your various brothels, speakeasies, breweries and more, as well as political affiliations. Doing so will help you increase your profits and rise to the top, but it's not an easy journey. Negotiations between the various other bosses can go either way, involving closer partnerships or possibly even all-out war ripping through the Chicago streets. Empire of Sin is rated by PEGI at 16 and above and by the ESRB as a mature 17+. If your question centres around is this title one to play in front of the micro bandits, then the answer is absolutely f***ing not. Empire of Sin involves close management of brothels, breweries and casinos in Prohibition-era Chicago. It's absolutely packed with violence which contains a fair amount of blood and prolific bad language. From a parent's point of view, for me, this is one which is absolutely not to be played in front of the little ones. In terms of accessibility, Empire of Sin is rating at high level. It is a great title, but it's also one which will take a lot of management. As such, it's not great for dropping in and out of, and you'll need to spend a fair amount of time to keep up with the basics and in touch with the strategy around the growth of your empire. If you're looking for a game to devote your playtime to, this is spot on, but not so much for a casual half hour every now and then. And with that stacked up, onto the rundown. Visuals good. In honesty, this one almost dropped down to fair for a few reasons. There could be a greater variation of character models for the thugs you'll face along the way, and camera angles and clipping can sometimes be a little awkward. At one point my main character froze in his weapon ready position and was gliding around the map, though this wasn't permanent. All in all, it does hang on to good rather than fair, as it looks great most of the time out in world view, which is pretty expansive. Up close however, it certainly does lack a little polish here and there. Audio great. The 20s soundtrack here is absolutely outstanding and fully pulls you into the game and the era. The voice acting I found is great, and if I had to pick a fault at all, it would be that combat victory soundbites can get a little repetitive. Outside that, however, it is a joy to listen to. Narrative good. There are a number of decent character narratives running through this one for each of the main protagonists available. It was actually a little more than I was expecting, but could have been pushed just a little further for top marks. Having the ability to influence conversations has been a nice touch. Replay great. Empire of Sin covers a huge amount of ground and there's a lot to be getting on with. The map size here is really quite substantial and each zone contains a number of different buildings to take over and an awful lot of diplomacy to navigate. You'll also find a huge number of campaign and side quest missions, which might even be enough to have Skyrim giving it the side eye. Overall, the Pixel Bandits offer you can't refuse! Level for Empire of Sin is grab it. From the changing of economy in various zones to the links between names in your little black book, there is so much thought which has gone into the details here. I am a big fan of strategy, and the blend of Prohibition-era mob empire building and XCOM-like turn-based strategy battles has pulled me right in. It certainly does have its faults, and it's not a perfectly put together game. I've not come across anything game-breaking, but visual glitches can certainly impact immersion. Even with that in mind though, I do think that strategy fans will get a lot of good times out of this. Paradox have a heavy strategy pedigree, and this is another diamond which, while a little rough in areas, still does shine. And that's all I've got for you today. Don't forget to check out the extended review at pixelbandits.org and keep your eyes out for more news, reviews and live streams coming soon. If you can spare enough for a coffee, every donation helps us keep Pixel Bandits ad-free and independent, and either way we'll see you again very soon, so don't wander too far.